All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on back to the Cinema Lords podcast. Got another Rings of Power episode recap. We're going to be doing episode 6 today. But before we get there, let's welcome in a guy that we haven't seen in a while. Been a little time away from the microphone, Mr. Seth Rogers.
Just been in the dark, just watching some shows, catching up on everything. I'm glad to be back in the studio, though. Picked a great time to hop back in, too. Good episode. There's other things down the line that I'd be happy to talk about, too. So I'm glad to get back in the studio and come out of the darkness a little bit. Summer's over. You know what I mean? Summer's over.
Dude, now summer was popping, too.
Right.
I was banging out episodes this summer.
Now it's time to get back inside, crawl up on the couch after work. Yep. Yeah, the fun's over. It's time to...
Winter is coming.
Yeah, get back into being antisocial. It's better off that way anyway.
And also, before we get started, stay right there. Right now, we're being just beloved, I feel like. From Penguin just started. Penguin was good. Obviously, I haven't watched Agatha yet. I don't have high hopes for that one, but that one just came out. I feel like we're just like this is coming out. We got fucking Gladiator coming out. I'm very interested in this Francis Ford Coppola movie that's coming out this weekend, Metropolis.
Is that already this weekend?
It's this weekend. That looks like a nightmare. It just Rings of Power.
Joker 2's coming out.
Joker's
next
coming.
Week, right? 2 weeks.
Venom 2 wasn't very good, but the first Venom I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Venom 3 coming.
Yeah.
This is a fucking...
Yeah.
We're being treated very well.
It's a good end to the year.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're at the point where all the things that were pushed back from COVID or writer's strike, whatever it is, they're all kind of... They're all releasing now, so now you just got one after the other. So we made it through, it feels like.
Yeah, nope, I think that's exactly what it was. I think there was so many things all stuck in the same road, basically. And now they're all just finishing and they're all just banging out one after the other. So it's been great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. And more episodes to come, too. Like we're going to do, I was already talking to you, going to do like a mid-season for Penguin. And then the final season. Because I think that's 8 episodes, so that'll be perfect. We'll do after the 4th and then after the end of the series. And then we're probably going to do something for Agatha, too, which there has been some Marvel stuff going on. I sent you the Kyle Chandler being... Well, actually, that's DC. I'm sorry.
Right.
Kyle Chandler being looked at for
that
the
would be pretty
Lantern
sweet.
series. God, I'd be so fucking fired up if that comes to fruition.
Yep.
Get me fucking Coach Taylor in the DC universe.
And Thunderbolts trailer just dropped today, too. Out of nowhere.
I didn't even actually get to watch that yet.
Very good. Yeah, it was very good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nice. That's... Because that's one of the movies that I feel like people kind of saw and they were like, oh, man, like this is what we're doing. I was like, I don't know. I feel like that has the ability to work out pretty good.
Very Suicide Squad-ish, the trailer.
Yeah.
But I don't say that in a negative connotation. I feel like that's how it should be. So, trailer was very good.
The only thing that throws me off is like really Ghost being in there, but Taskmaster. I don't know. But see, like that's almost like a good, like that could be a real redemption story. Like if they fucking nail Taskmaster. Yeah, Ghost too. Ghost is, I don't know, she kind of bored me. It wasn't even so much Taskmaster's a fucking cool ass character.
Yeah, they butchered the character more so than it was actually a bad character.
Right.
Not bad character, but average character at best.
But yeah, like I said, just a lot this fall, and I'm looking forward to fucking talking about all of it. So you're gonna have to keep up.
Yeah, keep up. We'll keep out.
We got the back to school draft coming this week too. So we got 2 shows this week. Seth's gonna be a part of that.
It's funny. The Harry Potter one's on the ground here, and I can't stop looking at it, and just thinking I fucking dominated that draft.
That's so funny because that show, I almost keep that there as like Charlie. That's boardroom material right there. That's fucking
every morning.
That just keeps me motivated because that show makes me so fucking mad in hindsight, dude. It's not even funny. Like,
what a easy win that was.
What a fuck up that show was. The mics, the cameras, everything was a fucking shit show.
Your draft.
Dude, I had the best. I'm not even wasting my time with that. I'm really not. I got the best book, best movie. I got the guy that we're all here for. Like,
what brings it all? Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? All right. So back to Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, episode 6. Terrible name. Where is he? Just awful name for an episode. I mean, obviously, we're going to know why with the body thing, which the body thing was cool. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I thought it was because Elrond doesn't show up in the whole episode. I thought that's what they meant by where is he, but yeah.
The kind of like Game of Thrones always used to do when they do the previously on for the week before. You always assume like whatever storylines they cover in that are going to be the storylines for this week.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, when I saw Noah Sealdor, I was like,
yes.
But then we opened up with Arondir's character, which he's been kind of linked a little bit with the Isildur lately. So it was very much like a Braveheart gif. It was very much like, you just see Arondir at first. It's like, everybody hold on.
Yeah.
Hold.
Hold.
Yeah. And then the scene was only like, I don't know, 30 seconds long maybe. And there was none of him. And I was just like, all right, we're good. Let's keep rocking it.
And it's so weird. I guess it should like shows how good the show is, though. Where like you would think in the terms of, like Lord of the Rings, like Spectrum, you should be like most interested in Sauron and Isildur,
right? Because the names you already know.
Yeah, and like what Isildur did, his story, but like
huge characters in his.
He's so far down the list that
he's at. Like when I say he's at the bottom of my list, he's at the bottom. Of my list.
Numenor's close. It's very close.
Very close. And if you include Theo in with Isildur,
no, that's true. Yeah, that's true. The all around. Yeah, no. Now that I think about it, that is definitely. But it shouldn't be. Like, you should be intrigued as to how Isildur got to how he got to. You know what I mean? Definitely. Like how he ended up doing what he did and his path along the way. But like,
I think
I don't care. I don't care right now.
From like a storytelling standpoint, when you look out, I think we should be intrigued by this Theo character too. But he's so like what happens to him? He had like that sword handle and shit. He seems like he's gonna be evil. Is he not gonna be evil? Who's he gonna be? But like I don't care. Like, I hope he's nobody and just get the fuck off. Just get off the show.
And then the previous episode with like the fucking half-ass Treebeard. You know what I mean? Like the rip off Treebeard. And it's like. Nah, it's just it didn't do it for me.
Dude, so that was like I love having Luke on, and that was like a perfect example of why. Like I would never have thought like there were. I said on the show like I would never have thought there were no girl Ents. Like I would have just been like, there's a bunch of Ents. Like some of them are girls, some of them are dudes. Like
they pollinate.
I don't fucking know. He's like, no. He's like, they fucking all of them just like one day just like up and disappeared. And like the male Ents don't know what happened. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
They got the right idea.
They got a fucking Roanoke Island. The whole fucking island just goes missing one day, bro.
All the men just get up and leave.
Fucking wild. So like that actually made me like that better though. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
I was like, okay. I was like that. Yeah. Now like that's cooler. That bitch had. She was
still
the one
do
that
it. Not
the
though.
Fucking chamber thing. On her head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we said, we opened up with Arondir, and he's basically going to just kind of give us what I feel like has been his character's purpose so far, which is just the slightest bit of action. Like, he just fucks up 3 orcs real quick, which this one was actually one of the ones I liked more, because this one looked more, I guess, like, realistic. I feel like some of the ones he did, like, I feel like they speed him up to look, like, almost too fast. Like, it looks not real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look fluid.
Yeah. He also, like, doesn't need to, like, especially in this scene, he doesn't need to be doing all that. When you know what I mean, like he faced what, like 3 orcs,
3 guys.
Did he need to be like jump turn in and like it's 3 guys? He can probably just fend off one and kill the other at the same time. Like he didn't need to be doing all that.
Doing the elf thing. That's what elves do.
But it was like that scene and that was it. So it was almost like, was it just like to check off a box and just say?
I think so.
In case you were wondering what this guy's up to, like this is what it is now.
Very much feels like, at least so far to me, that's kind of. I think he's probably going to have a bigger role at some point, but I feel like so far to this point, it's like, all right, let's use this guy to give a little bit of action to the show.
Especially especially if he's not with Isildur now, too. You know, so it's like, do we really, need to focus on him? But it was, like 20 seconds, and it's like, all right.
Yeah. So we just find out where he's heading. He opens out like the orcs holding the map, and it's Eregion. So he's going to be heading to.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess that's the most important. Yeah, you got something out of it. That's right.
Yeah. The only other thing of note, which I don't think it really was too much of note, but the orcs are like fleeing from Adar. They were like, anything's better than working for that guy chasing a ghost. So there's like a little bit of mutiny going on even within the orcs, which is not something I don't think we've really seen too much of.
No, like a divide within the orcs,
Yeah, the only thing that comes to mind is like the 2 towers. When you have the Uruk-hai versus just like the common orc that trying to get Mech and Merry and Pippin and shit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a harmony.
Yeah, exactly.
A harmonic group.
The orcs are harmonized.
We go to Celebrimbor. This is an interesting scene to me for a couple of reasons. He's like struggling big time. And he starts like being a dick, which is interesting.
Big time.
Because like, if he had a ring on, I'd be like, all right, like this shit happens to the ring guys. Like they're a fucking dick after a while. He's not wearing one.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't know. Like I feel like is Sauron just playing with his mind more and more? He's also forgetting shit. He couldn't remember the girl's name.
It kind of
same thing with the hammer shit.
And like maybe it was just my imagination, but he seemed like he was like older looking in this.
Yeah.
Like he was like kind of like not fading away, but I don't know the right term, but like he looked like he was more like stressed out and
for sure,
like older looking, worn down a little bit too.
He was like almost like he was just like, you could tell he was worn out, like out of breath.
Yeah, right.
He just looked like he hadn't fucking showered or eaten.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
But like I said, he's snapping off at everybody, and then fucking Sauron comes in. Basically, the Smiths all leave, and then this was a good little tidbit because you hear what like the actual conversation is right after he's gonna go have like basically a fake conversation. But basically, like Celebrimbo's like, yo, I ain't coming downstairs. I don't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just chill up here.
Yeah.
And then Sauron goes downstairs. He fucking finds out why he was called down there, which is the name for the episode. Fucking dead body. Only body that came back from basically like a little parole
yeah,
group or whatever.
Couple guys, three, 4 guys.
Only one that came back. And I've already mentioned a couple times that this show, I feel like, at least to me, is a little bit more like violent than Lord of the Rings is.
Especially the first season, yeah.
And again, I feel like this was another it was carved into his chest, and it's like blown. You know what I mean? It's right there for you to see. And I was like, all right, like again, it's not like fucking brutal violence in your face, but it's like this is a little bit more intense.
Oh yeah,
violent wise
for sure. For Lord of the Rings standard, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then he's gonna go talk to that same Smith bitch. Actually, I wrote down her name this week, Rodania. Yeah, that sounds about right. And basically, he's going to do his flirting thing again, and he's going to tell him that Celebrimbo, just relieved them of their duties, which is a made-up thing.
Yeah, right. He was just cranky. Like, he didn't boo anybody out of their jobs.
Right.
Like, he just didn't want to.
And also, he, tells, when he first starts talking, he tells all, the small folk people, he's like, oh, yeah, Celebrimbo, told me to handle all of his affairs for him. But, when he left the room, Celebrimbo's just like, yo, that dwarf thing with because we find out that they're out of mithril too. That's another big thing. Yeah, we find out that they're running out of mithril, and the dwarves basically just held up delivery on them.
Yep.
And he just comes downstairs. And, that's the other thing you told him to do. He's like, go get the mithril for us, and he just took that as all right, I'm gonna handle everything. I'm gonna make a bunch of lies.
Oh yeah.
Got exactly what he wanted, man. He's just continuing to fucking just deal fire.
Yeah, and I don't know if you found it weird, but do you find it interesting that he told the Smiths what was put what was on that person's body? You know what I mean? He could have made up anything, or
he could have,
stirred the pot with, done something to stir the pot with somebody else. But
I think that there is. I mean, he's obviously trying to woo that girl under his control. He apparently needs somebody else on the inside.
Yeah,
and he's chosen her. So I think telling her and showing actually some honesty might be good for him, because at the end of the day, her knowing what is that gonna do? It's not like she has any idea.
Nobody can put the pieces together though, and figure out that since this guy's come along, Celebrimbor's
been weird,
turning to whatever, turning the way he's turning, or things are going kind of odd where all of a sudden there's no mithril. Nobody could put the pieces together and realize that it happened once this guy started coming around. I just find it weird. Yeah, I just find it not weird, but you would think somebody would put the pieces together
first. You know what I mean?
The
three
true.
Elvish rings went so well.
Yeah,
they literally saved the tree. So they're riding high, and then they give them to the dwarfs, which still only one dwarf has a fucking ring that we know of.
Yeah,
but from most people's perspective, aside from his son and Disa, I feel like most people be like, oh wow, look at this guy, he's fucking mining, he's got gold everywhere, he's got this mithril shit. I feel like most people are going to be on board for that.
True. Yeah,
so those rings don't
he did you said too, he did bring the false hope at first. He built it up at first that this guy's the savior.
Yeah, I think it's, and especially, that's true too. Celebrimbo has obviously put a lot of eggs in his basket since he fucking saw him do that fire trick and turn into an elf. And
right. I mean, I would too, I guess. Yeah,
for real.
That would sell me for sure.
Which I have to imagine has to do too with the fact that Adar asks, which we're gonna actually, is that where we're going next? That is where we're going next. Perfect. Fucking Galadriel and Adar. Adar wants to work together. And Galadriel's basically just not even acknowledging his presence or anything. And then finally she's like, what can you do for me? And then he pulls out the fucking crown that we saw from the first episode, right when the season started. That Sauron we know is eventually going to wear. But he pulls that thing out of the box he's still got, and he's like, yo, this is what I fucking used to slay that motherfucker.
She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that got her attention big time.
Yeah, right.
And he says along with the 3, which she gives up a lot of information without speaking. Like when you don't answer, it's very much like I feel like inferred that like yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's like, is Hallbrand Sauron? She doesn't answer. Did the 3 rings work? Doesn't answer.
Yeah.
So like I think she gave up a whole lot of fucking information, but then she finds out about the crown, and now I think she's a lot more intrigued, like you said. Yeah. Now she's kind of like, all right.
On the whole, too, I'm glad. I like the way her storyline is turned this season too. Like I would have thought it would just be her going after Sauron the whole season. I don't know, I guess I didn't really expect Adon to be mixed into it too.
Yeah.
So I really like the turn of her storyline and how they're like together, not paired up yet, but they're together now. I think it was a nice turn.
Yes. Yeah.
You would just thought the whole season would be her just chasing after Sauron without that mixed in, you know.
Adar's gonna have, I feel like, a brutal death. I feel like he's gotta go
painfully. Yeah.
I don't know if it's probably gonna have to be by Sauron's hands. It'd be weird if it wasn't, but I don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like wouldn't be Galadriel.
No, not enough there. Not enough there. Maybe there could be though. The previews for this week look fucking wild. Elendil, we're going to go to Numenor, which was the only part of this episode that I didn't like. Like, I really enjoyed this episode. When we got to Numenor, just the way that you're talking. I was like, fuck. Like, this shit's...
Oh, you don't know.
Yeah, like, it sucks. It's just so boring. And I feel like the shit that they gave us this week was so, like, useless, basically. Like, he just has the same conversation, like, 4 times, all for it to not, like, come to fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we open up in Numenor, and Elendil is being sentenced to death. If he renounces his crimes and bends the knee, then he's good. He doesn't fucking die, and everything's straight. And he's like, yeah, sure, I renounce my crimes. But then when it's like, you recognize your new leader, he's like, nah, fuck that.
No, I do not.
Yeah, nah, fuck that. So he says, nah, there's only one true queen. And then they're like, all right, so you're going to die. But as he's walking out, they're like, if he wants to live by the old ways, let's give him the old ways kind of fucking whatever you want to call it. Flip of the coin. I was like, all right, what does that mean? And they show a fucking
almost like
sea monster.
Trial by combat-ish.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Then once you see that monster, I'm like, now that was just a little sprinkle.
Needed a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Something.
I do like just like monsters in Lord of the Rings usually turn out to be pretty fucking cool. Like the Balrog's awesome. Yeah. The thing from before the Balrog, the tentacly octopus fucking thing is crazy. We get to some of my boy. Yeah, now we get to the Dream Squad. Here we go. The Stranger and fucking Bombadil, this new guy who's fucking
best awesome. Addition to the show. Yeah,
he's
best
fucking
addition
great, to the show. Dude.
I love how he looks like a wizard that just has like a fake beard on. Like I compared it to, you ever see Year One with Jack Black? And he just looks like fucking like not homeless, but like he looks like he has like a fake beard on, and like it looks like you could just like pull it and just fucking like strap him or something. He looks just like Jack Black.
I've never seen this. I've never even heard of this.
But the character's awesome though. It looks like his beard. You could literally just snap back his face. The guy's great though.
He is. I just like his voice. I like the way he talks. I just like his mannerisms. I think he's very funny. But the Stranger's having some visions. Nori and Poppy are being tortured. Don't like that. But then he like snaps out of it and he just says like Nori, and that's when Babadook goes snoring.
Yeah, who's snoring? who's snoring?
Right away, I was like, yes, we're so fucking back. But this was a cool little scene, is because Bombadil, I feel like, was not very like informative in their first encounter. He was very like mysterious and not really kind of giving them any answers. And this one, he was the opposite. This was like very straightforward. He was like, you've had a bunch of tests at this point. You failed all of them.
You ain't doing too good so far, buddy.
Yeah, for real. I'm going to show you your next one. If you fail this one, there's not going to be any more. Like, this is it. This is the last fucking straw.
Pretty much.
And he's like, I'm going to show you the way. So that made me happy, too. I was like, all right, cool. You coming, too?
Yeah.
Let's go. More time, more screen time.
Yeah, more Bombadil.
But fucking, yeah. I mean, this, like I said, this was him much more straightforward than he was the last episode. It seems like he's got a little bit. I think he was kind of being coy that first time we met him. I think he's got a little bit more like tucked up his sleeve as far as information and all shit like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But more of him. I hope he continues.
Much more straightforward this this episode.
Yeah,
he's like, you go this way, you failed, and like, yeah, one more chance to not fuck up.
Yeah,
like this is your last chance.
If you do, I kill you.
Yeah, pretty much. You blew it.
All right, now we're gonna go to my girls. We have Nori, and then I went and looked up her name because I love the hobbits of all kinds. Gundababel. That's the Gundabable. There you go. That's the girl that leads the stores, and they're having a quick little conversation. And basically, she's like, "Yo, like my people migrate every single month," which I thought that migration in season 1. I thought it was like a seasonal. You know what I mean? Like, winter's up here, summer's down here. Right. And they're doing that shit every month,
like geese.
Like, yeah, no shit.
South of winter, yeah.
Like every month, that's a lot. I mean, fuck. They're doing. I don't know if that includes. I wonder if that includes like the travel, because if that's the case, then you're like fucking there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. You can't even settle down by the time you got to get up and go.
For real, you're just like unpacking to pack up again. But they're like the opposite of that. She basically was kind of saying how like,
I love her. She talks about the tree.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
You know, see that tree there? Like when I like looked after that tree. By the time I forgot, she said something like balance a handle or something like that.
Yeah, basically
like
just tells how
husband got buried underneath that tree. She's like, now I'm getting buried next to him underneath that tree.
I think she talks about her dad at one point.
Yeah. Complete opposite.
She goes like every one of these stores around here will have like a similar store.
Yeah.
So it's like just polar opposites.
Yeah, we ain't moving.
Yeah, which is going to eventually be like the hobbits are like I think 3 different clans of hobbits that all like come together to eventually like be hobbits.
Yep.
Stores, Harfoots, and I think there's another one. But Nori's like, yo, like I'll just turn myself in. I can save you guys probably and probably Poppy, which we're gonna go over to Poppy. She's gonna shut that shit down real quick. She's like, nah, that's a dumb idea. She's like, I believe in the stranger now, which she was always hesitant, especially in season 1. Like she was always hesitant, but now she's like, dude, you've been saying it for so long. I've seen him do so much shit. Like clearly he is special.
Yeah.
And then my girl Poppy's she's gonna get her little thing on. She's gonna get her little man. She's gonna give him a kiss. I was all hyped up. I was fist pumping. I was excited. And then we get a little chewy lizard for fucking dinner joke. And I was just like, didn't love that pop, but okay, yeah, we're gonna truck through.
A little corny, but yeah, we'll try it, I guess. Yeah, for sure. We'll give it a go. But yeah, you would think like this would be the time when she wouldn't, I guess, have faith in the stranger.
Yeah.
After what happened, but now they're separated, and she's like, no, I got faith in him.
Yeah,
we'll be good. But maybe it's because she's got a man crush now, and maybe that's why she doesn't, she doesn't want to go anywhere. But.
Goofy looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
just a goofy looking motherfucker.
What was it unknown is his name or something?
Nobody.
Yeah, that's what it was.
His real name is it's like
He's like, oh, when did you get your name? He's like, oh, 1 or 2 years. She's like, oh, that's not too bad. He's like, yeah, 1 or 2 years ago. Oh.
He was like, nobody just kind of stuck. I was like, that's
yikes.
That's not good.
Nobody just kind of stuck.
That's not good. But I was always happy to see my girl get a little bit of action. I love those are my people. The stranger, especially now that Bombadil's here, which we're gonna go back to Bombadil right now. He's gonna basically bring the stranger to like I don't even know how you would a forest. I guess basically just all the trees are dead and just like twigs,
burnt down forest.
Burnt down forest pretty much. But it goes on for fucking miles, and he's Bombadil's like, all right, bro, like. Start walking and wait for basically the shaft to like call out to you, and like when the moment's right, you'll like find the one that's right for you. But the stranger's like, all right, I'm definitely gonna do that because I definitely want a stick. Sticks are awesome. He's a guy. Guys love sticks. Like, I'm totally on.
Just guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes. Yeah, I love a fucking stick. Like nothing better than a good stick.
Like Nori, nice stick. Sticks are pretty sweet.
Sticks are sweet. Sticks are sweet. Fucking, he's like, yeah, I'll come back. He's like, I just gotta go save my friends real quick. And Bombadil's like, nah, which is a little bit different for him. He was like stern. He's always so like, fucking happy-go-lucky, positivity, like we're gonna be fine kind of thing. And now he's like, nah, dude, like all of Middle Earth is in peril. Like you have to choose right now. Yeah, right. Friend or destiny.
Yeah.
And that's where we leave them off. Actually, we don't see them again for the rest of the episode. So that's kind of a cliffhanger right there.
Right. It's almost, do you think, like, is he not I guess, like, persuading him to stick around and pick a staff, but, like, do you think he wants him to go after Nori, and, like, that's his final test, is if he, like, kind of puts himself aside, and if friendship is you know what I mean? Like he's like
his destiny.
He threw out everything out to her. Yeah, right, exactly. Like you have now passed the test. That was your test. You passed it.
I love it.
Now go get a staff.
Yeah, he chooses friends over power.
Right. And him in his ear the whole time, telling him that you need to go this way. That.
I want.
And the stranger's just like no, I'm gonna go after my friends. He's like, all right, yeah, you passed the test. I kind of think that's the way it's going.
I like that a lot. No, I think that's good. I like that. I feel like I like that a lot. Actually, I'm in. I was kind of just thinking, like, in a perfect world, that's why they're getting tortured, is like because he took the time to go find a stick, but then he's just gonna show up with his stick and just be like, all right,
yeah, and this Bombadil's, but he's been nice the whole time. You know what I mean? I feel like he wouldn't be that kind of prick that's like, all right, like, no, this is it. Like you gotta do this or not.
He's kind of like this whole scene though,
wizardy.
What did he say? He goes like a lot of people that are alive don't deserve to be, and a lot of people that are dead don't deserve to be dead. Right. And he's like, who are you to like fucking basically play God? Like who are you to choose who lives and who dies? So even like that was kind of, now that I think about it, that was like darker too. He was dark in this whole conversation.
Well, if you choose to go get a staff, wouldn't that be you making a choice anyway? If you choose who lives and who dies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you choose to not go after them, is that not a choice in and of itself?
I really like what you said a lot. I think that's fucking good. His destiny is to choose his friends.
Yes, agreed.
Because obviously fucking friendship is a massive part of his entire character. Like, from
probably
exactly.
Thing, yeah.
Fucking returning for Bilbo's goddamn 111th birthday.
Yeah, right.
Fucking
right.
Just like all of it. Like he's just a homie.
Yep.
We're gonna go to a place that I know both of us like. We're gonna go to Casa Doom. And we see fucking King Durin, now that he's opened up his mines, he's just got like wildly unnecessary piles of gold. Just like it's just being thrown at his feet like in wheelbarrow. Yeah. To what ends? Like for what?
To purpose? Not even scratch the surface too of, you know what I mean, how he's describing it. Like we haven't even scratched the surface of Casa Doom.
So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna just like turn the rocks to gold? You're just gonna paint this whole entire Casa Doom, everything, the waterfall. Like what are you gonna do with all that?
Right.
Eventually, you're gonna run out of people to sell it to.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna have it. You're like fucking minimizing the market.
Yeah, right. Well, I think he kind of in a little bit. I think he kind of explains what his like end goal is. So maybe that's what it is. You know, like he just wants to be the one for everybody to, when this great war happens, like he wants to be the one for that everybody comes to for regardless of what it is.
Yeah. I got you.
Oh, you need to pay for something else? All right, here's gold. Like like. He wants to be the one that everybody's coming to.
Yeah. Especially because he's going to mention
play both sides.
Yeah. But yeah, so we see the Durin, not King Durin. He gets summoned there, and he thinks it's Dad, but it's really fucking Sauron.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a cool scene for a couple of reasons, because I had an idea, and I was clearly wrong on it. But fucking, I think the bigger thing is Sauron's there to ask for the Mithril, and there's a little back and forth between the king and his son. It's just like, oh yeah, can I take your side? Who cares? But then the king himself is just like, the answer is no. So the first thing is like Sauron, you can see like molds the fire.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right.
Like, he thinks about like just fucking up Khazad-dûm.
Like just blowing up Khazad-dûm, yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck, like so I'm gonna go down. And then he ends up, doing what he's done, which is like play smart, like not go overboard. And then the prince is like, oh yeah, like, all right, I'm like happy. I thought you were kind of losing your mind. And I was in my mind, I was thinking that this guy wants to have as much power as possible. Giving up the Mithril means more rings, which then minimizes his power and his rings.
Yeah, right.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, which is smart. Like he's
right.
Like, he hasn't given out any of the 6 rings. Like he's offered them up if they give up half of their minds, which we haven't seen if that's come to fruition.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, as that we've seen, he still has those 6 rings.
Yeah.
So all he realistically has to compete with are the 3 Elvish rings. He's like one of the 4 most powerful people basically in Middle Earth right now.
Yeah.
So that's where my head went right away.
Yeah.
But then he was like, just the greed thing continued to flow.
It's like, no, once this war happens, like people are gonna be paying double what he asked for now.
Double
for everything.
what? Like what?
But yeah, to sit on a throne and a throne of gold for
right. Even when Sauron said like timber, I was just like, that
yeah, right. I had the same reaction too. He's like,
wood?
We can offer you timber to build wooden shafts. Oh,
like if I was great, I'm like, okay, I do need that.
And
that's like a throw-in. That's
yeah,
like when
right.
the team throws in, like, you know what? And we'll give you like a fifth
That's
round.
That's a player to be named later. The pilot, like Timber is a player to be named later, or cash considerations. Like
cash considerations.
You don't start with Timber.
I like
you don't fucking start with Timber.
He does say he's used the words precious, but he's like, oh, does Khazad-dûm want something more precious? Interesting. Like you already gave them rings. What are you gonna do? Give them a necklace?
Yeah, right. Yeah, bracelet.
What's next? What is that? Like,
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to even assume like what he's trying to insinuate there. Like that was something I spent a minute like thinking about. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like this guy's already holding a ring of power that you made for him. Like what?
And I think too, like
What
he doesn't really care if he's just sits in Khazad-dûm with a mountain, sitting on a mountain of gold. I think like when you have that's how the ring that's how it's reacting to him. I don't really think he cares if it's just, you know what I mean? Like if it leads to him just sitting on a big ass pile of gold in Khazad-dûm, like that's what he wants.
Yeah, I mean,
you're saying like for what? Like that's just what he wants. He just wants to be that powerful to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
so I mentioned it to Luke last week, but I still think that like the ring that like he gave to the king, I feel like is like almost like, obviously we know it's like faulty, but I think it's almost like the story, like it's lined up, up for the king to get greedy, like almost like he did that on purpose, so that he builds up like all this mithril, you know what I mean, kind of thing, and then he can just swoop in and just be like, okay,
and then he wants the king to say no when he comes to him now, you know what I mean, so that he can come back and be like, nah, sorry, like they said no, like, so obviously that pisses off, Celebrimbor on his side. You're like, it's just the game he's playing. He's playing a perfect game. That's exactly why he went there. He wanted them to say no, in my opinion. His whole thing is
that like I just thought of, like he does the fire thing.
Yeah, but I think that was like an initial reaction thing of like not getting his way, but then he's like,
or maybe just like the way like in general like the king talks to him too.
Yeah,
no.
He's he's kind of used to getting his way, so now that this happened, but he kind of has a moment where he's like, okay. All right, let's play the end game. Like, we want to be able to come back and say that Durin said no, and then his end goal is he just wants all sides to be fighting one another you know what I mean. So like, I don't think he came there thinking he was gonna get the mithril or whatever. He wanted to be able to go back and say that they told him no, to build that tension up even more.
He is pitching a pretty much a perfect game.
He is playing a great game.
He's given up like a walk or two.
Playing a great game.
He's left the guy like they got out of it, but he's put like a runner or two.
Yeah, right. He's Craig Kimbrell basically. He has a 3-run save and he gives up 2 runs. But he's not even just playing this isn't the only 1-2 that he's playing. You know what I mean?
No.
Now he knows he's playing a Don too, so now he's gonna have a Don come in his side. And he just wants everybody going after each other.
Season. He's doing Celebrimbor all of this season.
Right.
That's why I liked when the dog calls him he still calls him like the deceiver. Not a lot of people like refer to like that, but that's like what he obviously becomes super powerful and he's like super strong and all that shit. But his ability to like
deceive,
wiggle your mate like into your mind, and
right.
like he like plants these seeds and he makes you think that they're your own seeds, and he like gives you this self-confidence, but in reality it's just him puppeteering.
And he's doing it with arguably the 3 most powerful characters in the entire show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, like we said, like the king's like, like he's gonna be back and we'll be able to get even more for him. The bigger thing is, I guess what happens from there is when Durin's like, yo, Dad, like take the ring off. And
I shit off.
I don't know if it's just the way, like his accent or whatever, like just the quickness, but he's just like, I will not.
Yeah.
Like right away, I just chuckle.
It's an accent thing. It definitely is. It cracks me up. Yeah.
It's like a snap call too. It's just like, nope.
Yeah.
But that made me laugh. But then Durin kind of like, he's like, all right, dude, like, you think you're wearing that ring? It's yours. Like, prove it, because right now, like, the wing's wearing you. Then, like, obviously, there's a little whisper. It's like, don't fucking do shit. And then gives Dern a nice like power punch across the room, and he tries to take it by force.
Send him flying.
So that rings, even if it is manipulated by Sauron, that thing still got some pop to it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Definitely.
So maybe that could have been part of the reason too, because obviously he's strong, but right now he's ringless. Sauron is ringless. So I bet you that thing's still pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Even if it is, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that might have been another little thing. And then the only other thing we get from right there is we go from Durin to Disa. He leaves that room. He goes to Disa, and Disa's fired up.
That's why it's the accent thing that makes it funny. Because like she's furious in this, and I'm still laughing my ass off. She's like, I'll lay down. Like I'll fucking lay down if I have to. Like right in front of the cave.
One
like
of the fucking protesters on the highway.
Yeah, exactly.
No, just run me over.
He's like, what do you want to do? Like, just lay in front of the she's like, yeah, that's what I have to do, so be it.
Dude, I don't know what it is. Like, it's definitely something about her eyes, and like her face almost like glows too.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for her to be evil. Like, I keep waiting for her to literally...
Oh, I hope not.
I
really hope not.
I don't, like, at this point, it's been so long that I don't think it's gonna, but like, to me, I look at her and I'm almost like, she looks evil. Like, she does not look like a good guy to me.
And she's kind of telling Prince Durin to go after King Durin, you know, so maybe,
yeah.
I hope that's not the case, but yeah, you got some validity to it for sure.
I think it's definitely those eyes too, because they're like, you know what I'm talking about? They're
like
yellowy,
right.
Orangey,
Nobody else really has them.
Yeah.
I just hope not, because like I said, they're hilarious. I would honestly just watch a spin-off of just call it Casa Doom. Just have a spin-off.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I could just do like Durin and Disa and Durin. Them and their two kids just fucking.
Oh yeah,
they go on an adventure. They go on a vacation. Disa and Durin
go on a vacation. Yeah. Just give me a spin-off. Just call it Casa Doom.
Oh shit. No, that's another. I've literally said that a few times on these recaps. It's just like I could literally do like a spin-off just called like the Harfoots.
Yeah, right. Yep.
I'll just watch these little fuckers all day.
Yeah. Going on their event. They travel once every 2 months or whatever they said. Like, you can make
singing this song.
every episode.
Oh man, dude, I love them. I fucking love them. I mean, even the Hobbits, even in Lord of the Rings, I fucking love the Hobbits.
Yeah,
Merry and Pippin are great. Sam's great. Just Frodo. Frodo sucks. Like I said, Disa's trying to get Durin to basically like not turn on the king, but like what he's doing is fucking crazy. It's clearly not him. Like if we can show that he's being ridiculous, basically we can take his crown. But that's when Durin's like, I don't want to do that. That's my daddy still. You know what I mean? Right. But conflicted, you know. Which I guess I mean that totally makes sense. Especially like coming off the back of his dad telling him he's proud of him. It's like man, like Disa baby, like. He just told me last week he's proud of me.
Yeah.
I agree with you. He isn't himself, but if he's not himself, that means that might not have been true.
Right.
But I want it to be true, man.
And you would think, too, that this would be like the last straw of, you know, him not taking the ring off and sending him flying across the room, but he still has that pride. It's my daddy.
He got power fucking punched across the room.
Yeah.
And then...
Still not enough.
A couple of episodes when he's like down in the caves doing that mining ship, that other dude just like pushed him from the back and he didn't do anything. Well, at least not that we saw. I was like, why is Durin just getting like shoved around?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
When we saw him in the first season, like we meet him with like Elrond. They do like that rock breaking contest, and he's like all swagged out.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
And shit. He's got so much confidence, and now it seems like he's fucking.
He's getting stuffed in the lockers.
Yeah, dude, for real, he is.
Leave Durin alone.
He really is. So we're gonna go to back to Numenor. Unfortunately, we see Elendil. He's in his little cage, and his fucking bitch of a daughter comes in.
Oh, that face too.
Oh, she does. You're right. She does have a bitch face.
That
fucking, her skin is pulled on so fucking tight. It's like, dude, her cheekbones want to escape her skin in the worst way possible.
It's the devil want to break out from fucking with this is what it is. Like the skin's just holding on for dear life. Like gotta prevent fucking Satan from coming out. Oh, that face is
she does. You're absolutely right. She has a very hateable face.
I'm sure it's the acting part. Like, you know, it's no offense to the actress or anything, but but she very well could just be walking around like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think she's like turning around when they say cut and it's like, like smiling and having a great time.
You can't loosen up your skin.
No, your skin is like, oh, thank God. My acting coach told me how to tighten my skin up to make me look like an absolute fucking prick.
You know when they say like Hugh Jackman like dehydrated for 48 hours.
Yeah.
She's just like holding in her.
She put a clothespin behind her head with fucking dead skin.
She's suffocating herself for like 24 hours.
Yeah. She pulls it off, though. That's for sure. She is she's a miserable looking woman.
She really is. But this is just another, like, on top of like already betraying her family, this makes it so much worse. She like comes in like all crying and weepy face and like, I can't lose another person in this family. It's like, bitch,
you did
literally did all of this.
Yes, this is you.
You said all of this emotion.
Yeah.
The entire fucking,
it's you.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy to me. But
what did you think was gonna happen? Do you think he?
Oh yeah. No.
Do you think he was just gonna say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're the king," and then everybody would just get off happily ever after?
That's absolutely what she was expecting. She thought that that Palantir, like, it did carry a lot of weight. So I shouldn't say carry more weight than she expected, just within her own family, I guess.
Especially with the
that thing did carry all the weight. I mean, obviously, it got a whole change of leadership. It pushed out our queen. Farazan got named fucking whatever king or whatever. So
especially if they're dealing with the little prick, Farazan's fucking little prick son, who reminds me of fucking Joaquin Phoenix from Gladiator so bad. Like, literally reminds me of him so bad.
That's good. I like
I'm
that.
I'm supposed to bend the knee.
Even Farazan was sick of him. Right.
He's
like, what should we do? He's like, shut up, kid.
Yeah,
Just
right.
Like, you fucking done
Stay
enough.
back.
Just
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Which I think everybody almost unanimously hates that kid. But I thought that this was one of the parts I did like, was basically like she mentioned this pride, and he was like, if you think that this is all that comes down to, he's like, then you're lost.
I forgot what he's like. Like, what would you think would be like? I forgot what the line that he says, but he's like, it's not very merciful to tell a man to take his pride. Like, that's not a merciful thing to do. Like,
yes. But then, I guess he basically like almost turns his back on her, like fucking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you disappointed.
Yeah.
Which is like, Dad, I'm proud of you, son. That's there. And then I'm disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
It's so much fucking worse.
That's exactly what this was.
So much worse.
And you could tell she was like, she took it that way. She like walked away and she had like a tear kind of thing. And then she's like, well, I fucking groveled for you on your behalf. And then next thing you know, she's like, so you could have a meeting with the queen. And the fucking queen strolls on in. And she tries to pull some weight. And she's like, I command you to bend the knee. He's like, nah, homie. Nah, homie. But I think the more, not that it really matters because I don't really give a fuck, but you can tell that there's a little something going on between the Lendio and the queen.
Yeah, a little tension.
Little something.
Yeah, sexual tension.
Yeah. She's like, something about her heart. She's like, what if my heart's not okay? He like grabs her face and cups it. I'm like, oh shit. Are you just taking advantage of her because she's blind now?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. That's not exactly gonna persuade me to enjoy the storyline.
No.
That's not gonna be the thing that changes my opinion on it.
The only we're gonna get to, so we're gonna go to Numenor one more time, and the only thing that even remotely intrigued me was in the third scene. So we'll be there in a second. We're gonna go right back to Khazad-dûm, actually. So we just talked about how Disa was like basically like, I'm gonna lay down in front of this fucking shit, and we didn't see like totally at the end of that scene that Durin was like on board. You know what I mean? He was kind of, it seemed like he was almost torn between dad and wife still.
Right.
But we see like the new dig team or whatever, they're heading down to like, whatever. Open up the new mine shaft, some kind of shit like that. They're going to dig holes. And fucking Disa's there, and they're like, yo, like if you don't move, we're going to have to make you move. She's like, make me move then. And I was expecting,
love that.
Yeah,
Love that.
In my head, it was close to what she did. I was like, she's gonna like use this voice as like a Sonic, like X-Men kind of shit.
Yeah.
Just be like pushing them back. Right. You know what I mean? But it's the fuck. Apologize for any outside noise that might have gotten picked up. Were you gonna have to close that window?
No. What the fuck? No. Fuck him. Who cares?
So she's gonna use her voice real quick, do a little boom boom, and then fucking a whole army of like basically like big bats.
Yeah,
I guess like fly on in and
like cave bats.
Yeah, They go attack the men or whatever. All right.
I think somebody just died outside. Yeah, but anyways.
Guy's been smoking cigarettes since he was like 4 years old.
His lungs finally gave out.
Dude. That was the craziest laugh I ever heard. Dude, what the fuck? But a bunch of oversized fucking bats just come swooping down, make these guys running for the hills. But I think the more important thing is that we see Duran come around from like the Rock, and he's just like, he's on board. Like they're.
Well, you would think it would be like Deese's like, listen, if you gotta take some time to figure out what it is, like you take your time, you figure it out. I'm going out to this fucking cave with or without you.
Yeah.
So you want to take your time to figure out what side you're on? Go ahead, take your time. Like I'm making a move right now. Yeah. So he must have saw that. It was like, oh well, shit. Like if she's that into it, that'd be enough to persuade me.
It's my family.
Like all right,
that's my family.
That's the side that I'm on. But that was badass.
At the end of the day, you just gotta remember, like you already know yourself. Like your dad is not your dad right now.
Yeah,
he
right.
knows that.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Just like at the end of the day, that's what.
And you should want to do this to get your real, pull your real dad out.
Right.
Of whatever it is that's preventing him. Which he obviously knows what it is that's preventing him.
Yeah.
So
that's what happens when anybody gets a ring. They stop being fucking crazy, except for the elves, because those rings seem like they're not fucking tainted.
Right.
So. We're gonna go to. Oh my God. We're gonna go back to Numenor.
I didn't realize how much Numenor was in this episode until we went through this.
It's three
too much.
Scenes. Yeah, it's
three. Three's too much.
Yeah, like in hindsight. So if I ever go back and rewatch this season, which I'm definitely going to at some point, like when I get to this episode, I'm gonna know, like, all right, I'm just gonna fast forward.
Yeah, I'm taking a piss
or
something.
Yeah, check my phone.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck it is. Go get a new drink.
Switch the laundry. Yeah, whatever it is you got to do.
Yeah. Elendil is basically going to be brought out to his execution. They're going to like walk him down to the ocean basically, and he's supposed to, hop on in and
like Greyjoy style.
Yeah, for real. And before that can happen, the queen shows up, and she's like, "Yo, he did all of this for me, so I can actually I can substitute myself in for him." And you have a huge Ben Stiller bylaws fucking Chuck Norris moment. Like you just see the daughters talking to Farazan and the other guy in charge. It's in the rule book. It's in the rule book. It's a law. Yeah.
It's a bylaw.
Exactly. Everything stops. It's right gets scratched. Yeah. It's like, oh, is this legal? Can they do that? It's a bylaw.
Yeah. He's flipping through the book.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's in there.
So after all of that, after trying to persuade this guy in the first,
I'm picturing Chuck Norris. They just have Chuck Norris give him the thumbs up, and then he's gonna allow
over on the side.
Yeah. Thank you. The person with the thumb down. Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Chuck Norris. So the queen's gonna take his place. They toss her ass into this little water fucking hole, and it's a good time to be blind, man. So I think this is.
Holy shit!
Yeah, this is what got her out of the situation. Cool looking monster.
Oh yeah, very cool.
Sick.
Kraken, shark, giant squid looking thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it.
With more tentacles than a squid would have. Oof.
Yeah, that the tentacles part was actually very much like the thing from the Fellowship.
Yeah,
just a whole bunch of fucking.
So the whole premise of this monster though is basically just to make the person deuce themselves. So when she doesn't douche herself,
it's so funny.
They're like, all right, well, that's the whole premise of this thing.
It's basically exactly what I wrote down.
So if I close my eyes, if I just go down there and I close my eyes,
yep, and you just don't scream. Basically, the monster's just like, yo, you want scared of me?
Ah!
It's the only way it can get up. Yeah, the only way it can get its dick up is you got to be afraid of me, and it's you're not. It's all right, get out of here.
Yeah,
I don't want you.
Yeah, right. Cool looking monster, but
it was. Yeah. Basically, just roared at her, and she's like, "I'm blind, so I can't see you." And sure enough, she just gets coughed up. So that everything that we saw from Numenor was just basically completely useless.
That's true too. Yeah, you would think you would at least see him go through the trial and all that, and. All right, yeah, go fight the fucking thing for all I care. Fight the fucking sea monster.
Anything.
But yeah, that's true. I didn't even
talk like the graveyard.
I didn't even think of that either. Right. Do something.
Do anything.
So now Farazan just looks like a fraud now because.
I mean, basically, yeah. It was a trial by combat, like you said.
For having somebody else who wasn't on trial go and do this and come out alive because she's blind and didn't get scared of the sea monster.
Yeah, I actually wonder.
that's a bullshit way to go out.
I wonder actually how that would have gone down, if she had died, because it wasn't like Alendia, like the small folk want him dead, but like the queen, even though of everything, I feel like she's still some good love in the people's hearts, you know what I mean? So if she had died there, I think there would have been a little bit of, not an uprising, but I think the small people would have been chirping up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
What the fuck? And Alendio walks free, and he's roaming the streets, and they're like, "Yo, you fucked up.
Yeah,
you don't care about the bylaws. Fuck Chuck Norris."
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least it led to a somewhat decent scene.
What's
from?
Yes. So yeah, the only thing I really hinted at. So the reason that fucking we even got in charge is because the bitch was using the Palantir, and now Farazan's using it himself. And we see it almost looks like Sauron's eye, but not quite. And then we see a volcano.
Yeah.
And then
I would think it'd be Mount Doom.
Yeah, it has to be Mount Doom.
I would think Mount Doom for sure.
I would imagine so. But like I said, if I was looking at it, I was like, this looks like lava. But then it goes to that, and then it goes to Hallbrand.
There's also the current version of Hallbrand, right?
No, it's Hallbrand.
Previous?
He's the one that he knows, so
it's
from
not,
Numenor.
Yeah, okay.
So he's seeing that guy that he already knows.
Not disguised elf.
Right.
Oh, we got it. Okay.
Right. Which I feel has to be kind of a depiction of where they're going to be headed next, because I have no idea what this Numenor storyline is supposed to be. Right now, it's so irrelevant to the actual show.
Yeah,
it has to tie in at some point, and that would, I would imagine,
probably be a bigger role than you would want to.
Yeah,
in my opinion, especially if that's the route it's going to be going.
Maybe. I do know, for the most part, I think Sauron's army wasn't just orc. I feel like there were men. I mean, we see men in Return of the King and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So those might be
could just be another character that he's, puppeteering, but you know what I mean?
Oh, he's puppeteering.
By the time it happens.
Too.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. He's all over the globe.
Yeah.
He's getting everybody. Yeah, so Numenor's going to have to come charging in. It's just a matter of how he uses them, what they have to offer. Interesting. I don't know. I do know that fucking evil wizard guy, I feel is definitely going to come into play, maybe on his behalf somehow. Is this going to be him dueling against Gandalf? Maybe that doesn't seem enough to me though. I feel that evil wizard's going to be more.
Yeah, the Saruman looking dude. Yeah,
kinda. Yeah, Sauron's got his hands in every pot. He's playing in Khazad-dûm, he's playing in Numenor, he's playing in Eregion. He's playing everywhere. He's playing with wherever Adar is.
Yeah.
So I feel he's got to have his hands in that too somehow.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? So that was the only part of that entire all of the Numenor shit. Probably, I don't know,
the whole
15,
season.
18 minutes maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
And the Palantir scene is about 20 seconds. That was all I needed.
Yeah.
That was it.
Agreed.
I needed that 20 seconds.
Yep.
Still probably better than watch Isildur do whatever the fuck Isildur
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Again, fuck that guy. The one person that would think that you would want to see how he gets how he gets
Isildur.
to it.
Nope.
Up to this point, it's
Quay literally don't want you anywhere on my screen. It doesn't help that I don't like the actor that plays.
I agree
him.
too. Yeah.
I think he sucks. He's such a little bitch. Which I don't know if that's supposed to be on purpose.
He also doesn't I guess it's tough to do, but he doesn't look like how Isildur looked in
No.
Fellowship of the
No.
You could probably most of the time you're you see them as a kid, and then it's somewhat a close resemblance to how it was, but he looks nothing like Isildur did in Fellowship of the Ring.
I need a really young Sean Bean.
Yeah, right.
Fucking,
yeah.
Oh man, I can't even think of anybody. Oh, they couldn't have got him, but who I do like is the kid from the Kingsman. There, I don't know if he was the right age though. He might be a little bit too old. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Ager, so Taron Ager or whatever.
Yes, yeah. He's probably too old at this point. But I feel at least from what we see and just that quick little snippet at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring when they're kind of doing the backstory, I feel he looks
Better than
this guy.
Whoever it is that's playing Isildur now.
The dude from Isildur looks like he's from Dorne. Like, he looks like he'd be fucking drinking wine, fucking does. Boys, girls, fucking everything in between, and just like eating grapes and shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he really does.
He'd be a guy that fucking Oberyn Martell would be fucking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Literally fucking.
Pedro Pascal would be laying fucking pipe on this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something we're supposed to be getting in the first. I think it's the first slate of 2025. Actually, we're talking about, I think before the show is Last of Us 2.
Nice.
I think that said it's slated for the first. So that's January, February, March, something like that. Yeah, it was either the first half or the first half. So either way, what's that? April, June. Yeah. I can't wait to get that show back. I don't want it it should be like in the first quarter, because that makes more sense. Last of Us is to me like a wintry.
It should be after Penguin.
Yeah, that'd be yeah.
It's what 8? Well, 7, right?
I feel like
you got 7 Sundays now
for Penguin.
So it takes you up to like Thanksgiving ish, right?
Yeah. Yep. And then even if I mean I don't think it's.
And then you don't. I feel like you don't really have any. I'm sure they'll have something that goes in that primetime slot. Yeah. But even that, if that's like an 8 weeks, say whatever it is 8 weeks, that brings you up to January. January, February.
I saw a couple of articles from various sources, and they were all saying like the Penguin's not just like it's not like a good comic book like show. They're like, this is a show that might actually be worthy of the HBO Sunday night.
It's a fucking phenomenal show.
It was really the first episode was really good. Actually, you were at my dad's house yesterday. Real man, my dad.
The Lord of Lenses.
The Lord of Lenses. And we had mentioned the Penguin. I was like, oh yeah, when I go home, I'm gonna watch the Penguin. I'm gonna watch Rings of Power. And I don't know if you heard him, but he looked like he turned and looked up at me. He's like, the Penguin?
He
like,
did.
The new show? And I was just like, I looked back and I was just like, yeah. Like, yeah.
Right.
Like what that show.
Yeah.
But you could tell there was like a hint of intrigue in his voice.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what it was and he was interested. So someone had to have mentioned it to him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that shows like this show, like it seems like it might be pretty popular. Which, oh man, the first episode was fucking good. Oh my God, so good. So fucking good. Let's see here. We're going to go back to Galadriel and Adar, their second conversation of the episode. And Galadriel, whatever, has got a totally, totally different outlook than she did in the first meeting. She was kind of like fucking, like I said, not answering questions, just being stiff and stern. And now she's doing the opposite. She's like, all right, we can do this, we can do this.
Yep.
Elrond's coming down with some L's. He's got a fucking ring for me, which she named it. I've never heard of that before. I wrote that down. Nenya. I've never heard of any of the rings having
having particular names. Yeah.
Names, but she gave it a name or whatever. But she's like, between fucking Elrond's army, my ring, your army, we're gonna be able to fucking just wipe out anything left of Sauron.
Yeah.
And fucking Adar right away, which is a great question because just like the look of these orcs, it's just not people you want to have as your neighbors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you just don't want like I don't. Want
honestly, that guy over there laughed like an orc. Speaking of neighbor, like that's how a fucking orc would laugh. That scared the hell out of me.
Like living next to those all the fucking time. That guy just fucking cackling.
Yeah, right.
But he's like, yo, like, what's gonna happen to me and my people and all that shit? And you can tell
it's a good question
because Galadriel even kind of looks at him like, the answer to that question, you're not gonna like it. Yeah. But fucking he played her. He got all of the information that he wanted. He knows that Elrond's on the move. He knows that the Elven rings worked. He knows that Halbrand is Sauron, and he knows that he's held up in Eregion.
Yeah, so like you said, all her non-answers were answers.
Yep,
basically, her silence was the answers to his questions.
Yeah, and and then she went out and full blown confirmed it when she was even like at first when she says we can eradicate him. He's just like, we?
Yeah,
that was I was pitching that.
Yeah,
it was not real.
Yeah, all of a sudden. Yeah.
But I think the more telling thing is that he's kind of an idiot, and to this point we haven't seen him be an idiot. But he's gonna basically go out into his campgrounds. Galadriel's just following him, so she's got free roam of this place.
Yeah, right.
And we see that he brought a fucking army and a half to go fucking charge at Eregion and Sauron. But Galadriel's like, yo, she makes a great point. She's like, yo, like, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly what he probably wants because he doesn't have an army. He's forging these rings of power, so he's going to be able to control, like, all of the other races. And now you're bringing an army to him. And you're the guy, most of all, that he wants fucking vengeance on because you stabbed him in the fucking back. Literally stabbed him in the back. So it's like, it's all domino pieces are perfectly aligned. And as soon as the second she fucking mentions that, he's like, yo, bind this fucking bitch up and get her out of here.
Yeah, right.
Like, get her out. Like, she's making way too much sense. I've put too much work and effort into this. I've got orcs questioning me. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, those 3 orcs had already, like, hightailed it out of there. So there's probably more of them like that. And he's like, we can't have
enough's enough,
yeah. So he's like, bind that fucking bitch, like, we're moving in.
Yep.
Then we see him blow a really cool horn.
Yeah, the horn was the sound it made was wicked cool, too.
Very cool horn.
But you would think, like, so his thing is, like, all right, so if we do this, and then what happens to me? And she doesn't answer, but, like, so if you go out on your own and you defeat Sauron, like, isn't that the same question? Like, then what happens to you? You know what I mean? Or is his whole thing like is he just so?
No, I get what
you're
saying.
Like, selfish. His whole thing is like selfish. Like, he wants to be the one to take down Sauron. You know? Because if not, it'd be like, if not, you're still gonna have the same end result. All right, what happens then if we take him down?
I guess either way.
But if you just go, elves,
but yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
If the whole thing is just you wanted to take down Sauron by any means, like whether it's having help or not, then you would just take the help.
Yeah, you're gonna lose more of your army if you don't.
Right, but his thing is like I guess he's kind of stubborn and like he wants to be the one to defeat Sauron with his own army by himself.
There's definitely some pride shit getting in there for sure. Especially considering the fact that he I think he already very much was patting himself on the back thinking that he did kill him.
Yeah.
And then obviously
Sauron knows that too, you know?
Yeah.
He knows that he's not going to be necessarily teaming up with whether it's Galadriel or anybody else. Like, he knows that it's going to be him that wants to take him down single-handedly or with his army, and that's it.
Yeah, which is why in a minute when they show up and shit, he's looking out the walls and he's just smiling. He's just like, look at that. Yeah. My army's here. Right on time.
Right. And now
Celebrimbor is still working.
It's
everything's all lining up perfect.
Now you're probably going to have Elrond come down with his elves. And they're going to be more centered on rescuing Galadriel than taking down Sauron. You know what I mean? Celebrimbor's people, they're going to be focused on battling with Durin and the dwarves.
Yeah, that's good.
So he's just having everybody just take themselves out, or you know what I mean, limit their army as much as they can.
Make things as easy as possible.
And while everybody's preoccupied, he's one of those. While they're all preoccupied over here, he's over here doing his own thing.
Building his rings.
Genius.
Yeah, genius.
Genius.
I was watching Mr. Deeds the other night when I fell asleep. Actually, I've been on an Adam Sandler kick lately. I don't know why. There was a bunch of I didn't watch any of those shitty ones that came out, but then I was looking for something dumb to watch. And I put on that murder mystery movie with him and Jennifer Aniston. It was actually pretty good. It was good in the sense that it was an Adam Sandler movie. Good, you know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. I was all right. I was enjoyable. Yeah, I was entertaining. Yeah. And he's actually different. Actually.
Yeah.
In the movie. He's not like Adam Sandler, you know what I mean? He's not.
Yeah, because you get a few. You do those. You get a few Jack and Jill's thrown in there.
Yeah. No, this one was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it, and there's a second one too. So I'll probably eventually end up tossing that one on too. But Jennifer Aniston's awesome too, so that always helps. We go to the closing scene here, which there was some fucking cool shit in this scene, especially one camera trick that I thought was awesome. But we're going to see that after he blows that horn, they're right outside of Eregion. So, the guys that are, on the castle walls, the soldiers that are watching everything, they see that they're coming in. So they're like, yo, we got to sound the fucking alarm.
Yeah.
Which...
They don't have a cool horn, too.
They do not have a cool horn.
Had.
Do not have a cool horn. We go to Celebrimbor. He hears the fucking alarm, so he's going to go, check things out. And as he goes, Sauron shows up. He's like, nope. Just keep working. Everything's fine. And there's a little bit of a shoving contest. Celebrimbor gives him a little shove, and then Sauron fucking grabs his arm. So there's a little bit of physical dysfunction now. Yep. And then he's basically all right, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna check for myself. I've been locked in this fucking tower. And Sauron's gonna pull he's pulled some really cool tricks already. This one was, I think, the coolest one.
Yeah, right.
I didn't realize he was capable of all this shit. You see him kind of like, they do like a close-up of him, and he closes his eyes, and he's like clearly doing some kind of fucking blood magic voodoo shit.
Yeah.
And then you go to Celebrimbor. This was so cool. And he goes outside of the tower, and it's like a fucking beautiful day. The sun's shining, the fucking birds are chirping, there's kids playing, there's people painting, people sewing, people socializing. It's like the perfect world, basically. And he's just like breathing it in, too, because he's been confined for so long. He's like, I needed this. Yeah, I fucking needed this. And Sauron's like, yeah, dude, like, everything's good. See, like, we just need to complete these fucking rings, like, and everything's going to be fine. So Celebrimbor's like, all right, word, I'm going to head back inside. And then we get this awesome fucking camera shot of whatever you want to call him, Sauron, Halbrand, whatever the fuck. And it goes from the light, beautiful, nice day that we're at, and the camera, like, spins around. And as it gets gradually darker, we see what's actually really happening. It's a full-blown fucking panic. It's at nighttime. Fucking everyone's running for their lives. It looked so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yep. That was nice how they did that.
That's definitely like when people talk about like the money that went into the show, you can tell so much of it went into like the cinematography and like the looks and like the camera angles and shit like that. And I feel like I saw that and I was like, that was fucking really that was
and especially
really fucking cool.
Scene that comes up too, like the beginning of this war too, I felt like was another one that you could tell. Like that's where the money was going into. That looked really good.
Right. That shit like that. Right. That looked fucking clean. But then, what was the last thing? Oh, yeah. The last thing is the mithril ore. So fucking, like I said, Celebrimbor goes back inside, and he's like, all right, we got to get back to work. But again, the mithril thing. And then, I don't even know, it was a cute little case. A little eggy kind of thing. Yeah. And I got mithril ore, which is like grinded down to sand. It's from like the purest mine. So like, even though it's not that much, this shit's like fucking... This is like Denzel's coke in fucking American Gangster.
Yeah, right. The dope is dope. Yeah.
The dope is dope you ever smoked.
Yeah. Cream of the crop.
And he's like, this should be enough for the rings, right? And Celebrimbor's like, yeah, like, all right, like, let's go back to work. And then you can see kind of doing the same thing, just kind of like stroking his ego and making him feel like, he's like, when all this is over, like, they're going to remember you, and these rings is like the most important thing in history. Just again, just like,
it wasn't the same like Hammer or whatever that he was at the beginning of the episode where he was like, oh, I can't even, I don't even know where I put my hammer.
It was totally normally looking like black hammer.
Right, just like a little chisel looking thing.
And then this one was fucking like gorgeous. This thing was gaudy.
So is it the same thing though, where like I feel like at that beginning scene it was definitely Sauron like again playing mind games where he like made it appear. So is it kind of the same thing with this where he's like. Is it a real thing or is it?
Did you notice that like when he's first like so before like the shove arm grab like when he's first walking into the room he's holding it behind his back.
Yeah. Right.
So like when I saw that I was immediately like not interested but like I was like oh shit.
Yeah, what is that?
You can't kill him because he still needs him. So I was like I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. But then he gives it to him and obviously like Celebrimbor like looks at it like. Drinks it in. You know what I mean? Like there's almost like a magical like intuition or something. He's like, all right, this thing's powerful. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get back to work. So I thought that was a great. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not exactly how we end, but we kind of like Sauron's got everything he wants, and he walks outside.
And I'm thinking, I'm still thinking about it too. But like, sorry, I don't mean to keep going back to it, but like he must have taken it at the beginning of the episode too. You know what I mean? That's what he was because like. That's obviously he's like, oh, I misplaced my hammer.
He's like, I swore I left it here and it's gone.
So he definitely took it to begin with the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
sorry, I just clicked in my head, but yeah,
I was still confused mostly by like the memory thing. Like I don't understand like how he could be possibly like affecting his memory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Like,
that's deep.
Like exactly.
That's deep.
Like, you go in like literally inside and fucking with like memories and shit like that. It wouldn't surprise me. But again, it goes back to him not wearing a ring, too. Like, that, I feel like, would change so much to me. Like, if he's wearing one of these magical rings, that would change so much in my mind. Because it's like, all right, you're being, like, immediately manipulated by this ring.
Yeah, right.
And he's here, so he's, like, it's double manipulation. I get it. But he's not, and it's like, I don't know. I don't understand, like, how, like, even like that fucking, it was cool. Like, the mind trick there of basically putting a cloak over what's going on in reality.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fucking powerful. powerful, dude. Like, you're pulling out some serious shit.
Yeah. Or it's almost like vice versa. It's almost like he needs a ring to block out Sauron.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Should be making one for himself.
Yeah. That's what he should be doing with his time.
But we say, like, basically kind of like what we said, the Adar's army is going to start marching in, and Sauron's just, like, pretty happy about it. He's like, all right, everything is exactly the way I want it.
All went to plan.
So, great way to end the episode. A good episode at that. Yeah. Like, a really, really strong episode, in my opinion, aside from, like, the Numenor shit.
Like you were saying, too, like, you could tell where the money went with the, like, scene of the firebolts just going right into the town or whatever. Like, looked really good.
Yeah. Did you see the preview for next week?
I didn't, honestly. I shut it off and immediately went over here. Didn't even see I'll have to watch it when I get home.
So yeah, the preview for this week looked fucking wild. I mean, it looks like a lot of warfare. We see like Elrond's in full battle gear, like fucking fighting, charging in and shit. Galadriel's doing shit.
To show who he's fighting though, like is he going after Adon to rescue Galadriel?
Like they show him at like the head of a big, fairly good sized army. And it looks like they're charging into, like, orcs. So they got to be charging in.
They're trying to rescue Galadriel, you would think. Yeah.
I would have to imagine so.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, they show Adar and him, like, meeting, though, like, formally. Like, so that's going to happen probably, like, after an initial battle or some shit. Like, Elrond probably shows up. There's a little bit of a battle. And then, like, chill out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But we also see Elrond's going to go to Khazad-dûm. Because there's a conversation between him and Durin.
Oh, let's go. Let's get them back together, dude. Love that pair.
He goes, I'm going to need the call on your axe. He says the same thing.
Yes.
I need your axe, old friend.
Let's go.
Fucking direct call to the
Give me that pairing back together.
Yeah. So the other thing they show too is Arondir shows up. Arondir, they just show him like on the battlefield, like shooting some arrows and shit like that. So he's going to jump into the fold too.
Doing jump turns and
more of that
360 spins and shit.
More of that. 2 episodes left though, and fucking
that makes me so happy. Give me Elrond and Durin back together again.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if
that was the best part of the first season.
Yeah, probably was. I mean, aside from my Harfoots, but yeah. I wouldn't be mad if they do kind of like a Game of Thronesy thing, like where next week it's like a big ass like battle and lots of warfare and all that shit, and then the last episode is like kind of like a setup, like where our characters are leaving off going into the next season. Yeah, which is actually how like a lot of the Lord of the Rings like things kind of work their way out.
Yeah,
like think Fellowship, like Frodo and Sam, like all right, we're going off on our own. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, like all right, we're gonna go search for fucking Merry and Pippin. So it's very much like and obviously the battle right before that. Yeah. So it's like almost like all right, these are who survived. Boromir's dead, and this is where our characters are going, leading into the next.
Yeah.
I can very much see something like
that. Point
is,
you're not getting a House of Dragons where they're not immobilizing their army for the next 2 episodes. And that's the end of the season, and we'll see you in 2025. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
I really hope not, but I'm almost positive that that's not how it's going to go down.
I did see that this. I think one of the things I read on Twitter was that this is set for 4 seasons.
I love that. So, love that.
Yeah, I think that's good too. I think 4 sounds like a good number. But like I said,
I would think at some point too. That's when you start. I don't know. It's not our favorite, but 4 seasons, you'd think it would start shifting to Isildur by 3, 4.
Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming down the pipe. I hate to tell you, but it's coming down the pipe somewhere down the line.
Him and Theo eventually are gonna just start getting screen time like regularly, and I'm just gonna be so fucking disgusted. So fucking tuned out.
Like Durin's gonna be an afterthought too. Like it's gonna make me. It's gonna piss me off.
Fucking, they're gonna go whole episodes without showing fucking the stranger and the Harfoots.
Yeah, right.
Why am I here? What did I tune in for?
Where are they?
Yeah, for real. I want more Bombadil. That's all. That's one thing I definitely know.
Yeah, he seems like just this storyline kind of deal and goes away, but.
Definitely, he's not going to be around for.
If that's the case, he was a great character for the one season. Seems like that's all it's going to be. Hope I'm wrong again. Hope I'm wrong, so. But
honestly, like even now that he put Gandalf where he did, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see much of him now. To be honest,
no,
which sucks.
Hopefully I'm wrong. You'll see him as like a Force ghost by the end of it, like how the Force ghosts were. Like.
Well,
he's gonna be on Endor dancing.
Is he? He might be fucking immortal. He was like, the first time we met him, he's like, I came before literally like everything.
Oh yeah,
I came before all of it.
Yeah.
So he just might be there forever. Who knows?
Pass the torch kind of deal, and then right off.
Fucking once that was like one of the big things. Like Luke was like, oh yeah, he's like a big part of the first book. I was just like, there's like that much change. I was like, all right, let me go. I went out to the store and bought the book like that week.
That sold you more Bombadil being in the.
Yeah.
All right, well, I gotta go get the book.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
That's
awesome. Yeah, Bombadil's a big
That's
part of the
great.
show. I
I gotta go get this book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sold.
I was like, I'm in. That's all great. I needed to hear. But yeah, like we kind of already said, a good episode. Very, very solid. One of the better episodes of the season, I think.
Yeah, I was not a little impatient at first, but first like couple episodes were a little slow, but it's really taken off the last couple, and I think this was the best one of the season. So
yeah, it could be. I liked 1, I liked 2. I didn't care for 3 or 4. 5 was okay, and then I would say this 6th one.
And it was also too. I was playing catch up selfishly too, so it was. Some of them were more so. I wanted to kind of line them up and knock them down, but
it is different when you
versus this one was like had the time, wanted to give it full attention, didn't have another one after it to follow, but yeah. I love this episode. It was a good one.
Nice. 2 episodes left. We will be back again next week with another recap, and like we said, back to school draft is this week, so we're gonna have another episode this week.
Draft day.
Yeah. First draft since the sports draft, which that was, I think, June or something like that. But more shows. We're going to stay grinding. I'm going to stay grinding. I'm having a lot of fun doing the show right now.
Yeah.
Seth, thank you for coming back.
Anytime.
It was nice happy to have you back in here.
Happy to be here, and I'll be back on for the draft.
Yep, we'll see you again this weekend. But yeah, we'll be back next week for another Lord of the Rings recap. Be on the lookout for it. And as always, happy watching.